Hello everyone and welcome back to Warhammer 40k, KSK Daemonhunters. And I'm really sorry for that. This is unfortunate. This will be a post-commentary to a video which, as you can see by the title, is one of the greatest clutches in my recent video game experience. So yeah, unfortunate. But OBS made a little surprise for me and changed my default audio recording device from my Yeti microphone to the default device, whatever that is, but I didn't notice that. I checked here if the recording's on. I didn't notice that, and yeah, the day after recording I saw that no audio has been recorded. Well, no, my audio. The game's audio worked, so continuing on. We're kinda effed here, because there's a lot of enemies here, and the group that's fighting Mortarion is in a pretty bad spot when it comes to, as you can see here, HP. So yeah, they're in a pretty bad condition. Try to do as best as I can here. Well, but this is a charm of playing blind Let's Plays. If I knew what type of a mission this is, I would do the teams in a quite different manner. I mean, this team here, from what the narrative said, I mean, Kaldor Drago said it's sort of a way that this team would be defending the gate here, and by defending, I thought it would be a war of attrition here. There would be waves of enemies and would need to survive. But the thing is, those enemies basically do not pay much attention to my guys, and I do not need to survive. I need to just, well, block as much of them as I can, and my guys barely get damaged here. So the apothecary should be placed in the group that's tackling Mortarion, honestly, because that group, as I should have anticipated, cannot go full DPS. There's always a gimmick when it comes to the last boss, and the gimmick are those bloom roots. So yeah, the apothecary there would help a lot, like really a lot. Especially since, from what I remember, Kaldor has an ability to restore will points, I think, or we have a chance to restore it. So yeah, I could go healing there. And now I'm on a bad spot and I don't have any heals left, aside from Kaldor's ability, which gives a very minor heal. And as for this group here should be mainly focused on AoE attacks. So a Purgator that I have with a Flamethrower is a really great Purifier, sorry, not Purgator. Purifier with a Flamethrower is a great choice. Honestly, if I had two, I would have taken two with me here. That's one thing. One guy with AoE, melee, I would take him. A Paladin would be good here, since he would do that one ability that he has that attacks in a cone. And it could hit a bunch of enemies, yeah, that would be useful. So that's that. And as for the last one, maybe I would go with that guy with the Psy Cannon, that can do a force attack that hits AoE. He is a good one also to have here. Or maybe if I wouldn't have two Purifiers, we'll go with two of those guys with Psy Cannons. So yeah, that would be the team here. As for Morty's team, yeah, I think it's basically a good team that I have there. I would maybe get an Apothecary instead of the Librarian, that's one thing. And maybe think about having two guys with Honor the Chapter, but I don't know about that. So yeah, that's the gist of it. In other news, there was an announcement by the team, and hooray, because everyone, well, most people, me included, thought there was some bad things going on because the team was silent for quite a while now. And most people thought that it means they were abandoning the game, just like in the recent Necromunda entry. Because silence with 40k games, it's never a good sign. But yeah, they had an announcement that they will be making a patch in December, sorry, that will give you new enemies, I think 2 or 3 new enemies for free, and some balance and performance changes, performance issues are being, some are being fixed, and yeah, that doesn't help me when I'm finishing the game right now, but I hope it helps you, because a lot of people seem to have problems with the performance. As you can see, I'm one of them. Also, I would like to say, regarding the performance issues, this week I installed Baldur's Gate 3, which is a big game and a very nice looking game. The first thing you get while you run it is an information that it's an early access game and it doesn't have much performance issues fixed, so there can be issues with performance because it's not optimized. And on my hardware, on the same configuration, it runs very smooth, and I mean very, very smooth. It runs a heck of a lot better than this game, like really. Here I get dips to 20 FPS, in cutscenes even lower, and in Baldur's Gate 3 I have steady FPS and it's really high, you know? So if a game in early access is performing better than a fully released game, something went wrong. Something went really wrong. Some people on the Steam forums suspect it's the case of Denuvo being used, because Denuvo is used here, and it does, well, I didn't check, it should be written on the Steam page. People say that it is used, so I would trust them. So if this is the case, then Denuvo actually has a history of performance issues that have been well, that are associated with it. So yeah, that's not a very good thing. But all in all, if they can fix it and you can have a comfortable playthrough, I would advise to wait if you haven't started yet and you want to. So because as you can see, it's kind of hurting my eyes when I play it, and I'm really sorry for you guys that watch it. I mean, it seems painful. Yeah, I know, but I tried a lot of things. Believe me, I tried a lot of things to fix it, and nothing worked. So the only thing I can do is thank you very much for your patience and that you actually went through it to watch the game working like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can do. But yeah, good thing is, maybe you can be free from those issues. I would advise though to... I don't think there's a demo version, or maybe there is, but to check it first. I mean, if you wanna buy it, and there isn't a demo, you could buy it, well, boot it up and see the first mission, because even in the first mission it ran, the introductory one, it didn't run so good for me. So if it's smooth for you, and I think it's a good indicator that it should be smooth later on. But honestly, the real indicator would be first Bloom mission. I mean, mission when you have the Nurgle corruption on the environment, those strange plant-like things and disease things that are moving, those mouths, tentacles and other stuff, because those things have performance impacts, I think, and if you have a cutscene somewhere in between, that would be good also. I think you can squeeze it in the 2-hour mark, that's for game refunds on Steam. So yeah, if there is not a demo, I would advise you to check it quickly. Speed through the missions and dialogues first and see how the performance works, if you really want to play the game, that is. Because I do not advocate buying it if you're not into it. I mean, it's subjective and I'm having fun, even though it's not working ideally, so, but that's me. I like those kind of games. So you will do with your money what you want to. I by no means would like to say anything about that. I would just like to advise you to try it, if you want to buy it first, so you can be sure if it runs correctly. because it does take a little from your experience with the game. I mean, it does look a bit, I mean, it feels a bit different when you play it, and it doesn't run that smooth. Because when you watch it, and you're focused on the video here, like, well, you are watching this, it kinda feels even worse than it is, actually, for some reason. When I play it, it's not that bad, aside from cutscenes, which are horrendous. But that's another thing. As you can see, there are dips, and it doesn't always run like that. There are very noticeable dips. But back to what we have here. We're in quite a pickle right now, because there's a lot of enemies here. And for those that we do not deal with, they will teleport to the other side, and we do not want that, because that would mean the other group has to deal with them, and they have plenty on their hands with Mortarion and the things that come out of the bloom roots. And as I was saying in the previous videos, I'm kind of fearing that after everything that came out of the roots, there is still place for a Hell Brute, because that thing didn't spawn yet. And that's one of the prominent enemies that we've met in our journey, and I have a feeling one route will have the Hell Brute. I really do. And I was talking about that in the previous video already. And let me just say, you'll see something in the next few minutes. Yeah, you will. So far, I could say so good, but this is this group, so there's always the other one that's quite tired, the other side. So I need to do something so they could be in a better state. Don't want them to outright die on me. We'll reload and take care of this guy since he's quite low. Should be able to, yeah. It's a good thing to use those kind of opportunities like this one, because even though I could kill only one of them with this, I will severely damage the rest. So, yeah. I do shoot this guy, but I think that was a bad decision to make, because that other attack here, the scatter shot, actually depends on the amount of ammo you have left. So as you can see, I do not kill this guy anymore while using this attack. So that was a blunder from me, one of the first ones, and not the worst ones, because you will see in a couple of minutes what muscle memory does to your playthrough, or my affinity to just not read stuff and go by memory, which is pretty bad, because the last time I played it was about a week ago, because I did basically a week off from the game between recordings, sorry. Also, the thing that I do not like here in this mission is that they teleport. It's basically an AoE teleport. To trigger it, one needs to stand adjacent to the Chaos Portal, but that doesn't mean that only the adjacent guy would be teleported. The teleport will be AoE, but to trigger it, there has to be an adjacent guy towards the portal. So, as you saw, it didn't teleport one of them, it teleported a bunch of them. I don't know if a good tactic wouldn't be to block the teleport. I wonder if I would block it. Block the vicinity of the teleport. Sorry about that, tongue twister. Would it prevent those guys from triggering the teleport itself? If so, you could basically body block the teleport and deal with the guys while blocking it. Could work. I would need to experiment with that. But maybe if there's a DLC, because, well, maybe there will be. Judging from the announcement of that patch, it seems like they could be working on a DLC. I don't know if they outright said that they're working on one. I don't remember, because I read that announcement. when it first showed, and I think it was a day or two before this recording, don't remember correctly. So yeah. Okay, let's try and see if we can have a little bit of clairvoyance here and place our guys anticipating the next wave, because there will be one more wave, because I have one more route to deal with. So I will place my guys in a place where they will be closer to the enemy when they spawn. And okay, so that will be the last route.
I shall have vengeance on the chapter that has plagued my death.
Well, mine as well. And here I go. The biggest blunder in this video. I heal and I die. Yeah, you see that, right? I die. Because I went by memory, which you should never do in those type of games. I mean, we're not on a timer here, we have turn-based. And see, the thing that I didn't saw is Punish the Witch affliction. That's on Kaldor. Which says all knights suffer 2 damage per will point used. And that's what killed me. So, in this moment, I was basically thinking, I'm screwed. And I'm royally screwed. Also, this sword that the paladin has is one of the worst ones I could have gotten. It's a tier 3, so I used it because it has massive damage, but its inability to deal stun gauge damage, to build up stun gauge, is really, really bad here, because stunning Mortarion actually gives you enormous bonuses. So him being unable to do that is really bad here. I try to think about using some willpower, but I'm against it because I still have Honor the Chapter, which I would like to use. So I'm kind of against it right now, and just go in for an attack. Now I'll disable the melee weapon, so he must move on his next turn, and that could give me a free attack, so I'll go with it. Still have 1 AP, but I will leave that for Honor the Chapter. Let's move the Librarian closer to Morty here. This guy, the Justicer. We will shoot Mortarion 2 times. 2 times? Yeah, 2 times, because it will stun him. And I will still have 2 AP left to attack the guys at the portal. So that's great. Yeah, and I will capitalize on this stun to attack him. And here's one thing. I didn't know what to choose. I thought about the crit vulnerability, but I went with the +5 damage. And in this moment, I kind of thought I did wrong. But in hindsight, yes, because I don't know what happened next. But now that I know what happened in this video, I think this moment basically saved the whole playthrough, the whole mission. This moment saved it. If I would choose something else, I could probably be lacking damage to end this correctly. You'll see what I'm talking about a bit later. From what I can tell, this was one of those clutch moments, you know. I will use Honor the Chapter. This is, you know, this is a really broken ability. I mean, it is one of the best abilities in the game, but having 2 units with that in one team basically means you can defeat most of the bosses in one turn. Those Reapers, I'm talking about those Reapers, you can defeat them in one turn, if not then in 2, basically. And as you can see, I'm in worse condition. And one guy died. Now And I was basically contemplating finishing the mission and reloading, because one guy died, everyone's at low HP, Morty's still flying, and I have a bunch of guys here. But I thought to myself, heck, let's finish it. If I need to reload it, I'll reload it, and you guys will have 3 more episodes to watch, because this mission is a 3-episode one in the East, I think. But heck, since we didn't die yet, I am not seeing a game over screen, so might as well fight it. I'm not a quitter. Mama didn't rise a quitter, so let's continue on. The guys here still have the option to get back on their feet after 3 turns if they die, so there's that. And I'll do with it. Unfortunately, the one that has fallen now, the brother, which we will have in our memories forever, I think he died earlier. I don't remember, but I think he did. That's why he's dead now and not on his knees for 3 turns. So yeah, this is where the ability kick, that instead of falling, this knight has a chance to get back with 1 HP, which also saved my ass. The Paladin is a real nice class. I advise you to have at least 1. Honestly, I should have 2 of them. 2 of them just in case this one gets damaged and can't get into a squad, then the other one would be a backup. 2 paladins is a nice thing to have here. So, I'm continuing to bash Morty, hoping that this attack will get him on his knees, or maybe this turn will. And so far not, which is really bad, but I have another Honor the Chapter with me, so I'll use it. Since it's quite important for Mortarion to get on his knees right now. Also, the first Honor the Chapter in this mission, when I was wailing on Mortarion, and like I said, Hellbrute, we didn't see that one, and I was anticipating it. And it's very bad, since the Hellbrute has a lot of AoE abilities, and I'm nearly dead now. So, like I'm saying, the first Honor the Chapter that I did, yeah, that was a waste. The first one in this mission, because Mortarion was in this invulnerable state, and I used it to wail on him. That's another thing I did wrong. Good thing is, his AI is also stupid, which kinda helps me finish this mission, and you will see why in just a few moments. So yeah, hope you're still watching, and the performance didn't make you quit. So, as you can see now, I'm in a pickle. I'm in a great deal of problems, since everyone's down on their knees, and Kaldor is the only one that got up, and he doesn't have willpower for a teleport. He does not. So I do the only sensible thing and run. But the thing is, Mortarion is flying, and he has a lot of movement, thanks to that. So, we will get struck in the head by Morty. He actually broke our armor. He broke 2 points of armor, I think. So, the guys are regrouping there, which is bad. And one of my guys got up, thankfully, and this is the first thing that saved me, because Kaldor hasn't got a lot of movement on him. The teleport is unusable because I have not a lot of willpower, so I need to teleport my guy. Fortunately, I can do a warp charge. I have 2 little willpower, so I thought to myself, hey, let's just run, charge Morty, because that would make Mortarion move towards us, and not towards Drago. See, he already used 1 of his AP to shoot us, so he probably won't strike Drago. Fortunately for us, he used that scattering disease thing, and now this. The thing is, he used the charge strike. If he would use a normal shot, I could have probably been in a really bad spot. But since he used that charging one, and other guys actually got up, I'm in not a bad situation now. if I can rush the Bloom route, this could be livable. This could be livable. It all depends on these turns now. So, can I deal with him? Thing is, the Hellbrute also explodes upon dying. So, I gotta remember about that. And not finish him in this turn, because he will explode and the Paladin will die. So that's another thing that's kind of not very good. Now, the thing is, this guy does little damage, so I can rush him. I need to rush him, because he would strike my Paladin probably, and I want him to have as much HP as I can get. Because he's a melee guy and he can tie up Mortarion, which would allow me to basically shave a couple of turns of him. I will move here, because I want him to target my Librarian instead of going after Drago, and that will enable Drago to finish the roots, severe the roots, and I do want that. I was hoping that my Librarian will live through it, but as you can see, unfortunately I was wrong. And Molly is kind of glad that the guy's fallen. And here is another very lucky thing. The Hellbrute choose to make another charge ability, choose to do another charge ability. If he went for an immediate attack and didn't charge it, I would be in a very bad situation. Yeah. I'm going to tie up this guy, attack him, so he won't do any funny business. Thing is, let's move our Paladin closer to Mortarion, like I said, to give him a target. And hopefully the Paladin with 3 armor and a bunch of HP will live through it. Now Keldor. Keldor is close to the root, but unfortunately cannot severe it on this turn. And so I thought, hey, why not use a Honor the Chapter ability? So I use it, and surprise! Instead of giving him a turn, 2 more ability action points, it ended the turn. So the game kinda cheated me here, because I'm thinking that it's a bug. Because if you think about it, the precedence here was check if anyone has any leftover action points, if not, end the turn. But as one of my last action points, I gave more action points to Drago, and that wasn't counted before the turn ended and before it counted my remaining action points. So that's basically what I thought happened. If I would use that before using Drago's or my Paladin's whole action points, it would work. I'm honestly sure it would work. So, yeah. I could have been in a better spot. I could have been in an entirely better spot if that would work, or if I would save it for the next turn. But I didn't, because I actually didn't anticipate that happening. I'll be honest with you. And as you can see, there are a lot of reinforcements here. And now I'm thinking to myself, well, depends on how this goes. Maybe it is doable if I stop most of the guys, or let through, well, I don't know, 2 guys or something like that. And as you can see, I didn't anticipate that correctly enough. 2 or 3 guys are in good positions, but that one Justicar, I think it's a Justicar with a hammer, is in a bad spot, because there's nothing in his vicinity. I kinda thought that the last wave would spawn from every direction, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, he's the only one that cannot hit anyone now, and that would be useful if he could hit someone. But regardless, I need to act here. So I move forward, because moving here will give me access to the most targets. And like I said, having more AoE guys here would be more beneficial to me. So, if you know how this mission goes on your subsequent playthrough, or you maybe watched one of maybe my videos or someone else's video, and you know what happens, please pick a better... Please... can't seem to talk properly. Please pick a better team. I mean, the game suggested, or it was me, I kinda read into it more than I should, because I thought, like I said earlier, this would be more of a attrition kind of thing, not a pure DPS check, because honestly this is a pure DPS check, let's be real here. The more DPS and the more area effect you have, the easier this would be. And in all honesty, 4 purifiers here would make short work out of everything if they would also have a... I don't know if they have the ability to auto-reload, or maybe they would need a gun for that, with that thing on it. But if they had auto-reload and a armor on them that increases the focus, which increases the auto abilities triggering, yeah, you would have an unstoppable perfect team for this one, in all honesty. Just chugging AoE attacks one after the other, and if you put them in tight corridors, so the enemy needs to bunch up, you would basically delete them in one turn. I think so. Yeah, I think that would be a good team. Or a team with guys with Psy Cannons, so they could also AoE strike here and get that reload in. There's a lot of options here. There is really a lot of options here, and a lot of good options. But the team that I fielded isn't the perfect one for this. It's not a perfect one, it is not a bad one. Although, the hammer guy here and the apothecary could be changed to something else. Could be. Because the apothecary doesn't give us anything useful. Because I don't know if we healed. We did heal once or twice, but we didn't need it. I did that just in case. So if we got rid of that, we would still survive, because they just beeline for the portal. Honestly, they attack us just if they don't have anything to do. It's not their priority, so might as well focus straightly on attacking, on power. Yeah. So I think pure DPS is not a bad thing. I would maybe pick one guy with Honor the Chapter, just in case, and the other guy, or 3 guys pure DPS, or maybe 4 guys pure DPS with AoE. There are some good synergies here, like I said, maybe all of the guys would be purifiers and you have massive AoE, or guys that have Psy Cannons and the ability to follow up range attacks with range attacks for some harder targets. The Paladin with his AoE sword ability, or when with his defense to... if you need to push the guys away from the portal and basically make them use up 1 AP. That's always something. I mean, there's a lot of things you can think here that would work better than what I fielded. But that would be for another playthrough, I think. For another playthrough. But going back to Wh40k in general, I think this is a nice game. Regardless of the performance issues, I had fun with it. Really, I had fun with it. Although it did make some changes lore-based to make the gameplay feel better. I mean, honestly, the Grey Knights aren't a normal chapter. They're super OP even in the lore. I mean, the Grey Knights banished greater demons. I mean, if I remember correctly, they even dealt with Titans by themselves. Chaos Titans, so yeah, they're demigods when it comes even to Space Marines. They're one of the baddest chapters there is. Not counting other obscenely overpowered chapters. Like, what was it? What chapter was it? The Death Angels? Or that chapter that had weapons of mass destruction that the Emperor allowed them to keep in a vault just in case. Wasn't that the Lions chapter, actually? Yeah, so they had weapons of the forbidden weapons of mass destruction that no other chapter could have used. They had that in their vaults, and they were allowed to use that in certain situations. Yeah, so even in contrast with those guys, the Grey Knights are really badasses. I'm not sure if they... Okay, no, I do not remember my lore right on top of my head right now, and I wouldn't want to say anything bad to you. Lore-wise, there are a lot of good channels you can watch on YouTube to get some more information on Grey Knights and other chapters, and basically the whole 40k universe. Like, you can check, I don't know, Major Kill or Warhammer, depending on whose type of videos you like more and whose type of humor you like more. Also, from the top of my head, I think there is Voldemort's channel that gives extensive lore overviews. Yeah, there are more channels like that. Those are just free at the top of my head if you want to beef up your lore. So yeah, and there's also Warhammer Lexicanum, which has a lot of information. It's a wiki that has a lot of information on both 40k and fantasy Warhammer. So there's always that. And yeah, 40k is a great universe and great IP, but the games, it has a curse with the games, or really bad luck, I think, because most 40k games, most Warhammer games, in fact, are strange. They're either weirdly made, or they are forgotten or abandoned, like the third Dawn of War game. Okay, see here now we got 3 guys teleported, which 3 more, which is basically bad for us, since 5 guys are on the other side, and I'm near death. So yeah, as I was saying, you have a lot of games that were poorly made or abandoned, like Dawn of War 3, Necromunda, the tactical one. From the top of my head, there are some bad games that are basically mobile-esque games with weird systems. Don't remember the names from the top of my head, but there are very good games. There are really good games in this world, like the Vermintide games from the fantasy, and the new game from the Vermintide guys, that new 40k one, Darktide. Yeah, this seems good. People are saying good things about it. You have the first 2 Dawn of Wars with extensive modding community. People are still playing the game. I mean, there are really great games. There are really great RTS games, and I think 40k fits. It's made for RTS games. It gives you a lot of options, a lot of units, a lot of settings, planetary battles, crusades, wars. Shame that they don't empathize, that they don't try RTS games more. I move here and see if I can maybe use the skull. Unfortunately, I'm a bit short on range here. Probably, even if I move to that nuke there, I wouldn't be able to target my guy. So yeah, I did the best as I could here. Might as well end the turn. So yeah, 40k has some weird luck when it has to games, but there are some nice games out there. You just need to look for them. Total War Warhammer is a nice example of a good game, which I have great fun with. I play it from time to time. And now, here is the make or break. Of course, he actually put some nasty mutations on those guys that were able to get through. That's why it would be a good thing to don't have much of them go through at this stage, at the last stage. And now, we don't have any more of that uses willpower and gives damage shenanigans. Could use for the Emperor. So let's strike the guy. Let's deal with at least one. Now we can either charge those guys, which would mean certain death, I'm sure of it, or we can work something out. First let's hit Morty. We'll use Force Strike that we have left. which did considerable amount of damage, don't get me wrong. And that's why I'm thinking for the Emperor, which will give me another turn on my Paladin. I didn't so much think about the Justicar as I did about the Paladin, because he deals a lot of damage. So he needs to bash up Mordi as much as he can before he falls. Unfortunately, this is the extent that we can deal on this turn. And now I want to move my Justicar far away from the guys that teleported, so I can get a chance to maybe strike Mortarion once. I actually anticipated my Paladin falling. So I want to strike Mortarion at least once, if I can. And I cannot, as you can see. Here, at this moment I was really contemplating to push the reload button, to push the load button, to end the video, say sorry, and do 3 more videos. But I thought to myself, heck, I'm not a quitter. Let's at least go down fighting. If I see the game over screen, then I'll reload. If I see it, we end it. If not, the game is still on. And as you can see, I thought honestly Mortarion had an ability to fly over and defeat Drago in a strike. Fortunately, I still have 3 willpower. So I kinda try and see what I can do here. He has 35 hit points, which is a lot, but Kelder's strike dealt a lot of damage and chewed through all of the armor, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I have a chance, so I will at least try. And I'm going with it. Oh, I'm going with it. And here is the last bit of luck that I used up, and I think I won't have enough luck for another year of playthroughs. I mean, he could have struck me 2 times, but instead he preferred to fly, move 2 times, and then use the last AP to strike me. Fortunately enough, there weren't any enemies close enough to strike me again, so I'm like, if I'm recording, yes I am, then let's hit Mordi 3 times and see if this works. And lo and behold, 2 hit points and I still have 1 attack. So, rejoice, brothers and sisters, Mortarions down for the count. And we've won. We've won. I mean, this is one of the greatest clutches in my recent gaming experience. This was the clutch. The clutch. And Mortarion isn't happy about it. In all honesty, I could have done better. There was some instances where I did very bad decisions. I made very bad decisions in this fight. And it kinda bit me in the ass in the end, but we prevailed. Fortunately, Mordi doesn't die. He just runs. And that angry fist shaking towards us means I think he wants to come back and have his vengeance yet another time. Which, you know, he could just basically do something else instead of trying to get vengeance again. But I think that's maybe what he does in his free time. So yeah, this finishes the playthrough. And like I said, I really like the game, regardless of the performance issues. I'm just really sorry that you guys had to watch it with this sort of performance, you know. I knew it took out of the experience a lot, like really a lot. I watched a couple of episodes by myself to see how it feels like, and believe me, it doesn't feel that bad if you're playing, but watching it really takes out from the experience. But as you can see, well, the guys and the Grandmaster are unable to leave from where they are. So we'll salute our dear brothers and our dear chapter master, for they will still fight, and their fight will be eternal. So as long as they still live, they will still fight. And as for us, we will return to Titan, like Hector says, and honor our brothers' names in the Hall of Champions, because they will fight to the end of their days with our chapter master inside the Chaos God's realms. And we've made it. This is the last mission. This is the end. And like I said, I'm really thankful for you guys watching me. And I hope you will see me in the next series. I think I'll take a little break from tactical games and from 40k. I have an idea to start a Metroidvania, not a popular one, a bit older Metroidvania game. Yeah, and as for 40k, there's still a lot of games that I would like to play, but I think tactical 40k, well, we had its fill for at least one time, so I will take a break from it. I think I'm going to, not in the near future, maybe in the next batch of games or so, maybe try playing through Mechanicus on video. It is a really nice game, nice 40k game. I did play it a couple of years back, but I did only a couple of missions when I had my older PC, and it didn't run it well. So I left it, and now I have a better PC, so I could go back to it. I only did about 5 missions, I think, so I don't know much of the game. I think it would do for a nice playthrough, and it is an interesting game. It is a well-made game, where you, control the Adeptus Mechanicus. It has some classes, it has some nice abilities, some items. Really interesting game. I'll see to it. There's a lot of 40k games that we can see. So, yeah, that's for the near future. So, like I said, I'm really thankful for the journey. You actually went with me. And this is the end. This is the end of Chaos Gate Daemonhunters. Honestly, even with the performance issues, I had fun with the game. So I'm not that mad at the money I threw on it. I think I actually pre-ordered it. And yeah. I even think I'll be back if they release a DLC, kinda mitigate the performance issues before I get the DLC. If they release it, I will install it again and see if the patches fixed maybe some performances. And if I remember, and while doing another Let's Play, I see the performance is fixed, I'll let you guys know. If, like I said, I remember it. Because right about now, you can read the Steam forums to get some info about it. And I think that's all. And in all honesty, I don't know what to say after that. I mean, we've done it. As for the lore discrepancies, as for the lore stuff, I mean, there are some issues, like the squad size. I mean, Grey Knights never fielded squads this size. I think there were two most common sizes of squads, and neither were 4, like here. The other thing is, I mean, the armor that we wear, and some of the weapons that the enemies use, like the cultists, the stubbers from the cultists, they shouldn't do any damage to our power armor. No, they should be easily shruggable off, those stubber hits. But gameplay-wise, that would be kinda iffy, you know? So I get the changes. And like I said, the Grey Knights are demigods even when it comes to the Space Marine chapters, so their strength is a bit diminished in this as well. And as for the equipment that we can use, well, I guess the most popular one is in. I don't remember if the Grey Knights use other power weapons, like power claws and something. I can't remember on top of my head. Most Grey Knights use swords. And those bolters. And psi cannons. So yeah, and there are spears, like we used here. Can't get from the top of my head the most common ones. But like I said, lore differences are made from the gameplay perspective, I get that. also, the Chaos Gate formula is a nice formula for other games. I mean, we could get, it wouldn't be a Chaos Gate, but we could get an Imperium against Tyrannid, well, Space Marine chapter against Tyrannid, Space Marine chapter against Necrons. It could be an Ultramarines against Necrons campaign. It wouldn't be Chaos Gate, but it would do for a nice game, you know? So, yeah, this is a nice IP, and I think it has, well, if they get around to it, it could have a nice future. It could have a lot more games in it. That's what I think. But yeah, let's not make this longer than it should be. So, again, one last time, dear viewers, thank you for all, and I will see you in the next series. Bye bye. See ya, brothers and sisters of the Imperium.